Welcome to Eternal Wisdom Wealth Podcast.
A man I know used to run a small financial advisory practice. Nothing flashy. A modest office, a loyal client base, a decent income. Then the automation wave hit his industry and he watched colleagues scramble. Some rebranded, some chased certifications, some quit altogether. He did something different. He sat down with his 5 most trusted clients and asked them one question. What decision are you wrestling with right now that feels bigger than the obvious answers? That question changed everything. Within 6 months, he had quietly built a high-trust advisory model that no software could replicate. His income didn't just survive the automation wave, it became more resilient than it had ever been. Not because he out-technologized anyone, because he went deeper into what machines fundamentally cannot do. And here's the part most people miss. He didn't have a rare gift. He had a framework. 3 specific income streams rooted in human qualities that algorithms will never replace, no matter how fast the technology moves. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those streams are, how real people are already using them, and the one action you can take this week to start building your own. Why the safe job strategy is quietly failing you. Before we get to the 3 streams, we need to talk about the trap most people are already in, because if you don't see it clearly, you'll keep running the wrong race and wondering why you're falling behind. Here's the dominant strategy right now. Choose a job that feels AI resistant. Teaching, nursing, counseling, skilled trades, and then work harder inside that role. More certifications, more hours, more hustle, hoping that effort alone creates enough cushion for your family. It feels logical, it feels safe, but here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. These roles are not being eliminated, they're being compressed. The routine, billable, measurable work within those jobs is quietly being absorbed by systems that are faster and cheaper. What's left for the human is more complexity, more emotional weight, and crucially, not more pay. A dedicated teacher still shapes lives, but the administrative load has grown. The system routes more standardized work elsewhere, and the real raise never quite covers the gap. An experienced nurse carries more patients per shift as routine tasks get automated away. The honorable work remains, the financial margin doesn't grow. The mistake isn't choosing a human-centered career. Those careers matter deeply. The mistake is believing the job itself is the asset. It isn't. You are the asset. And until you start building income streams that are attached to you, your judgment, your relationships, your ability to hold composure when everything is uncertain, you are renting your financial security from an employer instead of owning it. That's the shift. And it starts with understanding the 3 streams. Stream 1, judgment income. Judgment income is what you earn when people pay you specifically for your ability to weigh incomplete information and make a call they can't or won't make themselves. This is not consulting in the traditional sense. Consultants sell expertise. Judgment income is different. It flows when a client, colleague, or business owner faces a decision that has no clean data set, a partnership that feels right but looks wrong on paper, a market pivot that every metric says is risky but every instinct says is necessary, a family business transition that's as emotional as it is financial. These decisions terrify people, and because they terrify people, they are willing to pay generously for a calm, experienced voice that can help them think it through. Here's what that looks like in practice. That advisor I mentioned at the start. He began offering what he called decision sessions. 2 hours, 1 business owner, 1 hard decision. No dashboard, no algorithm, just judgment shaped by 15 years of watching real businesses succeed and fail. He charged a flat fee, his calendar filled inside of 30 days. Now, you don't need 15 years in finance to build judgment income. You need depth in something, and you need the confidence to charge for the thinking you already give away for free. Ask yourself honestly, what decisions do people already come to you for? At work, at home, in your community. What's the thing people say? I need to run this by you before I do anything. That's your judgment income signal. The action this week, identify 1 person in your network who is facing a decision bigger than the obvious answers. Offer to sit with them for 90 minutes and think it through together. Charge something, even a small amount, so that both of you take it seriously. That's the beginning of a stream. Stream 2, relational income. Relational income is the revenue that flows from trust you have already earned and then structured deliberately. Most people sit on a goldmine of trust and never monetize it. They have spent years building genuine relationships with colleagues, clients, neighbors, or communities. They are known as reliable, thoughtful, good with people, and then every month they trade all of that social capital for a single paycheck from a single employer. Relational income changes that equation. The clearest example I can give you is a woman who spent 12 years as a middle school teacher. When she left education, she didn't go into tutoring. Everyone goes into tutoring. Instead, she looked at the real pain point she had watched families struggle with for over a decade: the emotional side of financial decisions, not the math, the fear, the conflict between spouses, the guilt around money that parents pass down to children without knowing it. She started facilitating small group conversations, 6 families, once a month, 2 hours per session, where she helped people process the emotional and relational weight of financial choices. She wasn't a financial advisor. She didn't need to be. She was the trusted guide who created the space and held the room. Within 4 months, she had a wait list. The income wasn't life-changing overnight, but it was hers. Rooted in a skill set no platform could automate, and a reputation no algorithm could build on her behalf. Relational income streams tend to take one of 3 forms. First, curated communities, small, high-trust groups of people you bring together around a shared challenge, where your value is the curation and facilitation, not the content. Second, referral architectures, deliberately structuring your existing relationships so that trust flows into introductions, partnerships, and opportunities that generate income without you having to cold pitch anyone. Third, collaborative projects, working alongside people who already trust you on something neither of you could build alone, splitting the upside. The common thread is that every dollar in these streams is backed by a relationship. That's not a weakness, that's the point. Relationships are the one thing that cannot be scraped, replicated, or disrupted at scale. The action this week: make a list of 10 people who trust you. Not 10 people you know, 10 people whose next important decision might benefit from your involvement. Then reach out to one of them, not to pitch anything, just to ask what they're working on. You will be surprised how quickly a real conversation opens a door that a cold email never could. Stream 3, composure income. This one is the least obvious and the most powerful. Composure income is what you earn when you become the calm, stable presence that people seek out, precisely because the world around them is moving too fast. Here's the insight that most people overlook. Technological disruption doesn't just create uncertainty, it creates a massive market for people who can hold steady inside that uncertainty and help others do the same. Think about what happens inside any organization or any family when a big shift arrives. A new tool disrupts a workflow, a market move threatens a plan. An industry restructures faster than anyone anticipated. In those moments, the most valuable person in the room is rarely the one with the most information. It's the one who doesn't panic, the one who asks the right question instead of reacting to the loudest noise. That capacity, call it stoic steadiness, emotional regulation, strategic calm, is extraordinarily rare. And it is learnable. One man I know built an entire advisory practice around this insight. Business owners were overwhelmed by the pace of automation, not because they didn't understand the tools, but because they couldn't decide what to automate and what to keep human. Every vendor was selling them a solution. Nobody was helping them think clearly. He stepped into that gap. He didn't compete with the technology. He became the human guide who helped leaders decide where the machine belonged and where it didn't. His pitch was essentially, I will help you stay calm and think clearly during a period when your instinct is to either panic or blindly automate everything. That's composure income, and it scales because the disruption isn't slowing down. If anything, the market for calm, clear thinking is growing faster than almost any other service right now. Building composure as an income stream starts with building it as a personal practice. The two are inseparable. You cannot sell steadiness you don't possess. The practice is simpler than you think. When pressure rises, a contract stalls, an opportunity falls through. An industry shift threatens a current stream. Pause before responding. Name what you can control. Ask one question. What small action today strengthens my position instead of reacting to someone else's timeline? Do that consistently. Make it visible. And you will become the person people seek out when their own thinking gets cloudy. The action this week: identify one area of your professional life where you currently react when you should respond. That's your composure training ground. Practice the pause for 7 days. Then notice who starts coming to you differently. How these three streams compound. Here's what most income advice gets wrong. It treats each stream as a separate project to manage. The reality is that judgment, relationships, and composure don't just coexist. They feed each other. Your judgment earns trust. That trust builds relationships. Those relationships bring you into high-stakes situations where your composure sets you apart. And that composure, over time, earns you a reputation for judgment that starts the whole cycle again, at a higher level. This is why the compounding matters more than the individual streams. A person who builds all three, even modestly, is building something structurally different from someone who optimizes a single income source. They are not just more financially resilient. They are becoming harder to replace with every passing year, while most people are becoming easier to replace. That trajectory is the point. What to do tonight? Don't let this become another video you found useful and then forgot. Here's the only thing you need to do tonight. Take 60 seconds. Write down one answer to this question. Which of the three streams, judgment, relationships, or composure, already exists in my life in some form, even if I've never charged for it? Just one. Write it down and say it out loud. That's the root. Everything else, the income, the stability, the legacy you're trying to build for your family, grows from that root. Not from the next certification, not from a safer job title, not from outrunning technology. From going deeper into what you already are. The oak doesn't fight the wind, it roots deeper. Start there.